kind of interesting that white women and black people, black Democrat types, are taking it so personal that like they literally look at Donald Trump as being beaten by the rich, good-looking white guy, and in their view, who had it all handed to them because they can't really. These are apparently groups of people that don't really understand it's harder to keep your money and make it bigger than it is to have money and make it look like you have it. And this shows because of who in our society has the largest percentage of credit card debt and personal debt. So it makes sense. It tracks. There's a logic to it. But I would think it's just like hard, like that idea of like, why can't you like deal with this? Like, why can't you deal with the fact that your policy ideas have been shown to be exceedingly bad ideas all the time? And so for another score, it's turning out that, sure enough, we found out that Hunter Biden, we were finding the paper trail of Hunter Biden trying to get various departments of the government to help him secure the deal with Burisma. So, and now, that oh yeah, Joe is too old and senile to answer questions. And we all know that that's what the score is. That's exactly how this is going to go down. The big man is going to die in one of his like 3 or 4 very large houses, which if for some reason there's like 1 or 2 of these that he's constantly renegotiating, like constantly renegotiating the terms on. And so somebody has basically said like, well, when you see people doing that, this is usually a sign for investigators to see if there's money laundering going on. And especially, I mean, like when you look this up, like he's like literally like renegotiated. It has some, like one of these houses has like, I think like double-digit number or triple-digit number of, was it like mortgages attached to it? It's like, it's super weird. I would have to find this story again. But somebody was, some just the accountant was like, yeah, that's very likely. I mean, that's what you look for. When you actually look for weird mortgages that people have because there's something weird going on, like if they have some inordinately large number of them, they're like some kind of pattern in the amounts, that you're like, no, this seems to be money laundering, that you have to pay a certain amount. And no matter what, it keeps getting negotiated to about that amount. And it's because you're laundering probably somewhere around that amount of money regularly. Various things like that. There's various patterns that somebody would look for. And because most people don't do something like that. They don't take out mortgage after mortgage after mortgage after mortgage on the same place. So, I think it's great. Cenk Uygur, the person who's so terrible with politics, that you could actually bet against what he says and make money. That he's now in his category. This would make how he likes to. Biden is corrupt. How he likes summarizing. He's corrupt. And so it. But of course, we knew this prior to his presidency. Everything that needed to be understood about him, we knew prior to his presidency. And there's now no evidence he was ever popular. Nothing about him makes sense. About his appearances, about how people react to him, about how he was treated by most of the world on the world stage, when it came down to, like, how does China treat, Biden's, administration when they show up? And it's like, no, they don't respect you. And so now it's this thing of, oh, Kamala, and it's, once again, it's her turn. which is, it's our turn, ladies. We get to take the wheel. Now we're going to take the wheel and we're going to show these boys how this is supposed to be done. Yee! And so what is it going to be like? Minneapolis, Baltimore, Chicago, California. And this is really like choose which illness you want. That's really a great way I've kind of been thinking about it. Like you have at one end of the infection of the left, you have something like Seattle, where it's not terrible, but there's like whores everywhere. Or it's like Baltimore, where a hopeless dump that isn't going to come back for decades. Detroit, another hopeless dump that's not going to come back for decades. And Chicago, a place that has a murder rate that there was a guy on the right who he used to talk about this, that he would get the same period of time murders in countries that are notoriously unsafe. El Salvador, Brazil, other places, and he would be like, okay, this is a city about the same size or of about the same kind of status in their culture. How many murders happened in the same amount of time, or in some kind of comparable period of time, their summertime, 2 months in their summertime. And so he would regularly report how a place like Chicago would beat the least safe cities in South and Central America over and over and over again in murder, assaults, and robberies. That he's like, so if somebody were to move here from countries that have some of the most notoriously violent cartels and people fight with grenades and things, they would still find Chicago shockingly violent. And now this is this beautiful thing of like, yeah, so why should anybody bet ever again on the liberals? And so, there's a good one. Somebody had a great screenshot today. $5 trillion wiped out by economic terrorists from the far right. And what it was DEI, that somebody has, of course, done some back of the napkin math on this, and has figured out that all the investment that went into DEI going up in smoke is $5 trillion. So it's not that literally corporate America decided that they were going to invest in anti-white racism, and that somehow this was supposed to people were supposed to just go along with this, which then tells you a lot about corporate culture and white women. That white women obviously would have been key to this idea of, oh yeah, we're going to just openly discriminate against white men, and we're going to we're going to just openly discriminate against white men, and it's going to be totally cool, and these major corporations are going to go along with this. And so the whole argument I was making with Sweet Baby, that these were mostly just rich college students who were being allowed to fail upward by being handed money because they were just simply diverse losers. And I'm like, no, that's the idea, is that because they're commie-tarded and gender-tarded losers, they're going to be handed money, and it's going to be, no, you have to make garbage. You have to be a loser to get money. And that's all it's going to be for a long time. Like, people are going to just have to start accepting the issue. That we got your number. You don't like the terminology. Destiny doesn't like being known as a commie-tarded loser. It's, what's it called? Vaush is considered a loser because when people can constantly just wipe the floors and walls with these guys. It's Hassan can't debate people without looking like just kind of this quasi good-looking himbo, a commie himbo, to some rich kid who is LARPing as a communist, and a rich foreigner LARPing as a commie. And too many Americans, people who are kind of legacy Americans, we know that that's a thing. That's like literally a thing. You run into this a few times in your life if you meet a lot of people. So I'm enjoying now seeing how bit by bit, it's not even that you're being discredited on the left, it's that you're looking like you're being shown out for who you are. That you can't win in the real market. And that now this is really starting to cost you. This is why, the whole reason why there's an article like this is because this is killing legacy media. This is like the death of legacy media. The DEI thing was the way that a lot of legacy media, specifically studios, the connected conglomerate companies. So there's some companies that it's like, oh, they're closing, was it Paramount? Paramount just shut down all their television because nobody wants to see this bullshit. It's garbage. They made too much garbage and nobody wanted to watch it. So because nobody wanted to watch it, they're trying to blame, people don't like, this anti-DEI thing from the far right. But it's like, so you're admitting only people on the far right watched Paramount Plus anyway? Well, no. And so there are a really large number of people. This would seem to mean that this is like kind of a small majority, are quote unquote far right people who hate POCs or something, and that's why they hate DEI, and that most of your watchers are therefore white males. I mean, where are you getting? Show me what kind of numbers are we talking about here? Who and what is their leaning here? Who is this and what's their political leanings? And so if they were to try to make this work out, they would end up finding out, no, they actually have to admit that what they've done is made bad art, because there's art that is bad. It's bad, it's low quality, it's badly made. It's made by somebody who doesn't have a rapport with the audience, or doesn't have the capacity for a rapport with the audience. So you failed. Like Kathleen Kennedy is a failure. It's not that Kathleen Kennedy had great ideas that people couldn't understand. It's that she had bad ideas that people rejected. And there's something about that idea of you've been rejected by nobody buying it. And it's show business. You have to sell tickets. That's show business. And that it's this idea of no, this is art, and we make the artiest art that's ever arted, and you guys don't understand. And it's like, no, you make garbage, and nobody wants to buy it, and nobody's willing to pay money for a seat to sit down and watch it, because that you can't get that time back, which is then it's even whoa. Wow. I'm not sure what that one was. Wow. That was cool. I love that. That was so cool. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. That was so cool. Okay. I'm not sure what that was. I want to think that was something like a kestrel or a peregrine or something like that. I'm not sure. So, but yeah, the aspect of it being just, this is show business, and I can't get my time back watching a bad movie. The money is one thing, but money and time, and that's it. I mean, it's just a lot of the meme war showed people that the right fundamentally had more rapport with people, with humans. That the right understands a thing called humans better than the left does. And so the memes flowed and the memes worked. And so people like the memes and they understand our memes, while the left is notoriously terrible at that kind of art form. And yeah, so I'm kind of enjoying now how that specifically, the die art die part of this, that there's, and that now there's all these people from, I mean, even communist China is just figuring out this is what people want. So that's what you make. Like even they are like, yeah, even they're figuring this out. You know, the customer wants this. Well, then that's what we'll make because we want to make money. Because this is show business and entertainment. And yeah, and it's the entertainment business. So the fact that there's like this kind of thing of like, we don't have to do anything anybody wants. We could just be revolution, and that at some point the money will keep flowing. This is only a way of thinking if you have parents to pay for it. And it's just showing more and more and more that that's kind of what's up. Is almost an entire side of the society that's like, well, I don't have to have the revolution end because my dad will pay for me to be a revolutionary forever, you know, and now that's drying up society wide. It's wonderful to see.